Comics Wellspring. And yeah, this was printed with Comics Wellspring. Came out beautiful.
High quality stuff. People think it's fantastic. All the books that you see at my table are through Comics Wellspring.
Harry Gerostergios, artist, designer, co-host of Indie Comics Relay, searching for a way to stay awake during the show when an accidental overdose of indie comic book knowledge interacts with his uniquely tangential brain. And now, when Harry grows distracted or bored, startling metamorphosis occurs. He can't help but talk about the Incredible Hulk TV show.
Harry somehow brings up the Incredible Hulk TV show almost every stream that we have.
I love that show.
Nowhere sometimes.
For the same reason why I love Frankenstein, because, you know, Hulk didn't ask to be made. You know, this guy, you know, he was in a lab accident, you know, and I feel bad for him, you know, people are trying to kill him. Whatever. Seriously though, if you think about it, how does an adult man get beat up twice an hour every week? Really, I haven't. When's the last time you guys got beaten up?
Previously on the Mighty Mascots.
The fearless robot Boom found himself in dire straits after a bullet struck him during a fierce battle with Lana Lennon in issue 6. The impact compromised his targeting system, throwing his precision and control into disarray. Suddenly, a new threat emerged. With no time to waste, Boom makes the decision to have the bullet removed and take his chances with the glitch in his personality matrix. Boom's transformation has set the stage for an epic new chapter, and the story continues in Mighty Mascots issue 10. Issue 10 is a triple-sized anniversary extravaganza, featuring all new content by the same great creative team you know and love. Dive into a thrilling news story and enjoy 2 exciting backup tales by DC Miller and the Ogle brothers. Choose from 2 stunning alternate covers that capture the essence of this landmark issue, with artwork by Gazbot and Angry Dad Comics. Plus, we've got incredible new perks, including exclusive 3D printed Breakfast Brawler figures. There are 8 figures available in 4 sets. Buy them all to receive a bonus glow in the Dark Mondo figure. And that's not all. Catch up on back issues, grab limited collectibles, and immerse yourself in the Mighty Mascots universe like never before. Support the Mighty Mascots issue 10 on Indiegogo and be a part of this groundbreaking journey.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots and promoter for the Plastic City Comic-Con. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana, Surrounded by Death and the Pond. For who, Johnny?
My good cousin, Roger Morocco, who got me into comic books.
Absolutely. And our third co-host, Harry G., graphic artist extraordinaire. What is up, fellas?
Not too much.
What's up, everybody? Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. So I'm going to keep the intro here brief because we're trying something new tonight with the format of the show. So we often have, whenever we have multiple guests on, we always bring them on together. And I feel like, me and Johnny and Harry have talked about this behind the scenes and how we feel like the creators coming on aren't really getting a proper interview. So we're thinking of changing it like a talk show, where it's like we bring in a guest and then halfway through the stream, we bring in another guest kind of thing and do segments like that. So that's what we're going to try tonight. So our first segment tonight is a returning guest, David Campiti, who is the CEO of Glasshouse Graphics. And he's been involved in numerous small press companies over the years, including Innovation Comics, Malibu Comics, and many, many more. Some that you don't even know that he had a part in, you know. And so in Glasshouse Graphics is his latest company, and he's got some awesome Kickstarters, like some that are, he's got like a couple that are still open, which is awesome. We'll go through them all.
Stuff that you worked on as well, Keith.
Exactly. I've been doing some lettering work for his company, which is I've been so grateful for, you know. And yeah, and he's got a project that I'm really excited that's live right now on Kickstarter, and I think a lot of comic fans will be excited about. And so without further ado, let's bring him right in. You guys ready?
Well, speaking of projects, congrats on being fulfilled.
Yes, yeah, we were going to talk about that at the end of the
awesome.
show. Yeah,
Awesome.
110% right now. Which
Very
is
nice,
great.
very nice.
So awesome.
Yeah, so I extended it another 30 too. So it's like I forget how many days left are now, but like it's like 25 or something like that. I extended it right before Thanksgiving. So I don't know how many pledges I'll get between now and Christmas, but you never know. There's some people that might jump on it, you know.
You got one more for me, Keith. Thank you for holding off for me.
Well, it's going right into demand after that, Johnny. So you have plenty of time, dude. And honestly, it's not necessary, but I know you don't take no for an answer.
I won't take no for an answer. I got to back the campaign. I do appreciate the extra time, especially when we're going into a holiday season, you know, all that stuff. So it's so good that you extended it. Exactly.
Yeah, that was the most important thing, funding it and then keeping it open, like, which I'm glad Kickstarter's doing right now too. So, but all right, without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest, Mr. David Campiti. Dave.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the show. It's good to see you, man.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
And I was saying back while you're backstage there, I mean, you've done it all. You've been part of Innovation, Malibu, and now Glasshouse Graphics. Is there anything else that would blow our mind that you were part of that we might not know?
My company kind of saved Heroes Reborn back in the 90s.
Really?
Don't know that.
Okay, did not know that for Marvel when they were in bankruptcy, right?
Yeah, this was around that time. You know, they did the Heroes Reborn, and you remember there were some deadline problems with that. As wonderful as some of it was, we got a call from Cheryl Rhodes, the publisher, saying, "Can you help these guys?" And so if you look on some of the later issues, Al Rio and Joe Bennett and guys like that from our agency chipped in, did a bunch of the issues to help get things back on schedule.
That is awesome. Yeah, because we always forget those Image guys were notorious for being late on everything. So that's awesome. I didn't know that. So now was Glasshouse Graphics like a thing at that point too, or was it a different name or something?
Oh, I started Glasshouse Graphics in 1993, so we've been around over 31 plus years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I went straight from running Innovation for 5 years to starting Glasshouse and haven't looked back. So we've gotten to work for everybody. I mean, let's put this into perspective. Most people, the fans anyway, don't even know we exist. And for one company alone, Simon & Schuster, most people didn't even think of them as a comic publisher. We did over 8,000 pages of comic book art for Simon & Schuster last year.
Wow. Okay.
Because they're all like this stuff. I'll show you here. They're all graphic novels, stuff like Heroes in Training.
Okay.
And so they're small adventuresome comics. We do Heroes in Training and Goddess Girls and Spirited and just so many things. So like 8 different projects, and they come to us because it's impossible for one artist to handle a project for them, because they'll come to you. Spirited, we want 6 144-page graphic novels done in a year. You do arithmetic, and that's impossible for anybody to do. But since we're also set up as an animation studio, we're able to do that. We can get multiple people working in a style. We put a head artist on it and do it studio style. And so you can get thousands of pages done that way. And So we do that for Simon and Schuster, and we're always doing work for just about everybody out there. So you look around and IDW and Mad Cave and DC and Marvel and so on. So there's a lot of the smaller and mid-range people and a lot of the Kickstarter clients that we're actually handling, but we're very rarely mentioned. So it's just the artists up front.
So you're like the guy behind the guy, right? Like as they often say.
That's where the true power is. The guy behind the guy.
Yeah.
Well, another way to look at least for the Simon and Schuster books, you remember reading about the history of comics, and you had all these shops, the Eisner and Eidger shop and Harry Chesler's shop and all that. We're kind of doing that with our team in Italy for all these Simon and Schuster books.
Oh, wow.
So
you have guys all over the place, not just in the U.S.
We have over 200 artists all over the world, plus designers and a lot of folks that are exclusive to us, a lot of folks that aren't, because the nature of the business, you want people to be able to get jobs wherever they can.
Right.
And I come to people like yourself for lettering and logos and so forth that just broadens and adds to the mix.
Yep. Yeah, no, and I thank you very much for taking a chance on me. I had a blast working on that book, Skyclad, it's called.
Yeah,
it used to be called Willow, but it was that was a fun comic to work on, and everyone that I showed some of the pages to were like blown away by that artist. Does that guy still work? Like, is he still?
He's retired now.
Is he? What a great artist.
Yeah, he's reached the point where he has some eye problems and so forth. So
that's too
bad. Not drawing much anymore. But at that time, not only was he really well known, especially in Australia and Europe, for doing all these beautiful girly paintings.
Yeah,
been collected into multiple hardcover and softcover editions. But he worked on Hero Alliance and Lost in Space for me. He worked on. I think it was one of the Batman movie adaptations. He's drawn Superman and Catwoman and something called Cyber Rats and just a whole Wolverine Doombringer and all sorts of stuff. But I can remember that after 30 years.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a marvel in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the career in the comics you've had is amazing. Like, and
how'd you guys? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
How'd you guys meet or get
what, me and Dave?
Yeah.
Just from when he was on the I forget what happened. You were supposed to be on that episode with, I think you fell asleep or something, but Dave was on our show.
Oh, maybe was that the one
with
probably
the legend Mike
right.
Deodato.
Right.
Junior, maybe
it's coming back to me now.
Okay. Maybe about 5 or 6 months ago. And
right. Yep.
When I did the research, I saw, I looked at Glasshouse Graphics and I saw that they had letterers. So I took a shot and I sent Dave some samples and he liked them and then gave me a shot to try the Willow comic that they did were kickstarting. And I guess I'm part of the team now, I think, in some way, right, Dave?
Yep, and you're going to continue getting stuff because you're really good at what you do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
He's a great letterer.
Yeah, thanks you. That's awesome. Well, one thing. Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
I'd be amazed at how many would-be letterers will send me their portfolios. It's like, okay, you can't proofread, you can't do the basic stuff. You don't even know not to use the I with a crossbar in the middle of the word. No, you've got to be consistent with your tales. And I spend so much time correcting this stuff. It's like, okay, show me the page revised with all these notes, and they never follow through.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a learning process. People just think you slap it all on there. And I mean, even with me, like the crossbar eye thing, I didn't know for a number of years. And then I had to learn that, and yeah, it's just a constant learning process, lettering, which people don't think. It's just like art. You got to learn your skill. It's learning a trade.
Well, here's the thing, especially with the independent books, that lettering is the first thing to fall apart on one of these. Because everybody thinks they can letter because, I bought the Comic Craft font, or I bought this font over here, or I bought this package, and they don't realize how much. They don't know how much they don't know.
Right.
And so
they don't know how to think about it as design. It's like design more than it is like just slapping word balloons on.
And if they don't have someone like myself to teach them, they don't get better, and they just keep doing all this crappy lettering, and it doesn't reach your level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like, I wish I ran into you sooner. I would have been better a lot sooner, I think. Awesome. But one thing we were talking about backstage that I wanted to ask you about, and I saw this on your Facebook, like, I think earlier, right before Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah.
That an innovation comic has now become like one of these hot books.
Oh, Forbidden Planet #1.
Yeah, Forbidden Planet #1. Now, like, do you know what happened with that? Like, why is it going for crazy amounts?
From what I've been told, some company is planning on doing a new version, either adapting the old movie or I don't know, a prequel or I honestly don't know.
Okay.
And there's some big name writer involved in it, so people started scouring for. Did Forbidden Planet exist as a comic before? And well, I had published, let's call it an expanded adaptation of the movie.
Okay.
And it came out in, I believe, 1992, 4 issues that were done in a fully painted style by artist Derek Gross, who had also painted the Vampire Lestat series for me in Innovation. And I say expanded adaptation because it has all the scenes that were in the movie and all the scenes in the screenplay that didn't make it into the movie.
Oh, neat. Okay.
So it has some pretty cool.
And you wrote it too. You wrote the adaptation, right? You adapted it.
Yeah. So I did it. I did it full script with Derek, and I went through the screenplay and figured out, okay, how do I change this block of description and make it work as a comic? And my full scripts are very detailed, and it all worked out, and it was a splendid adaptation. It ran 4 issues, and then we collected it as a trade edition, which had a painted cover by Mike Okamoto on it, and it was a pretty cool book.
That's awesome.
but the first issue of the regular comic is the one that's, I don't know, for some reason going through the roof there.
Yeah. Have you seen that with any of your past comics? Have you seen that happen with anything like that?
I think some of the Anne Rice stuff, Interview with Vampire, Queen of the Damned, Lestat, those all propped up a bit when there were movies or TV show adaptations of them. And of course, the Lost in Space stuff went up a few years after Innovation when the Lost in Space movie came out.
And was there any bump with Quantum Leap when they did the reboot of that show too?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
surprised.
The best thing that came out of the Quantum Leap thing was, it was co-created by Deborah Pratt, who was a producer, and she's, I think, the voice of Ziggy on the show.
Oh, okay.
So forth. And she called me last year, said, I was rummaging through my storage unit and came across the Innovation Quantum Leap comics. I forgot how cool these were.
Those are great. I have the whole set in my collection back there somewhere.
And she said, I have a teleplay that's never been produced called Warrior One. Could we do that as a graphic novel together? And sure enough, we did.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, artist Will Conrad on it. So it is.
That's the guy doing Flash Gordon right now for Mad Cave, right?
And it's gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, look at
wow,
that. He is a great artist.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Is she still working in the Hollywood industry?
Well, she was producer of the 2 seasons that you just watched, and she directed.
Oh, she was, okay.
Yeah, and she directed an episode of the 2nd season.
Oh, cool. Very cool. You're still watching that, Johnny, right? Like I missed it.
What's that?
The new Quantum Leap.
I got most of the way through the first season, but I
have to start it.
Too much media, not enough time.
That's where I'm at, dude. I when it comes to working or watching TV, I choose work, unfortunately. Right. But one of these days I'll get to watch it though.
I wish I could work and follow narrative like on a show at the same time, which my intention is just like if I get so like involved with work. So usually I leave like news on in the background, which is just like good background stuff. You know what I mean?
I prefer music, but I hear you, man.
I can't do any of that. It's got to be quiet.
It's got to be silent.
Quiet. I'll put music or a podcast on if I'm cleaning the office, but not
there you go. But yeah, the other thing I'm always impressed with you, Dave, is in just a short time that I've known you, is some of your ideas, like in this one that you are doing on Kickstarter right now, is such a fantastic idea that the way that let me bring it up first. Like, let me show everybody.
This thing's cool. This thing's real cool.
Before
brings
we get
back
into
old school feels. Walking into a comic shop.
Yeah, like you're bringing back the classic spinner rack, but I love your future. Like you have this whole new version of it, which is amazing. Like, do you want to kind of let everybody know in the audience what you're doing here?
Sure. So the classic spinner rack has been around for longer than any of us have been alive. When I was a kid, of course, I went up to McNamar's drugstore and they had 2 spinner racks. So that's a core memory. I mean, part of my life as a kid. So when I grew into adulthood and started innovation, I bought a couple of those spinner racks in black, and they they survived for decades and all that. And I thought, well, what about new ones? And I went looking, and spinner racks, the few that are out there. Well, if you want an original old one, eBay's $1,200 or something. New ones were running well over $700 from our Wireworks and some of the other places. I think Diamond had them theoretically for $400, but they're always sold out. And with shipping, it's more like $600. And so I looked into, what if I did new ones? And the more I looked into it, the more I saw how ridiculously expensive they would be, including the shipping. Shipping a rack from California to New York is $200 because that sucker's 6 feet tall. Yeah. And so I started looking into, what if we could reduce the size by making it something that is in pieces, but you can assemble it in like 8 minutes.
Okay.
And I found that we could ship it really inexpensively, and we could offer it at a really good price to people. So it became a spinner rack that you can disassemble for storage or to take along to comic conventions with you. Just set it up at your booth there, and 8 minutes, take it down, stick it in the 3-wheeled bag that it comes with, and you're all set to set it back up in your store or back up in your man cave or your office or whatever you want it to be.
The coolest thing I like about it is the classic look of it. It genuinely, right there in the background, it's got that classic spinner rack look.
And but this is it right here, Johnny. Like such a.
So they are a little bit wider this way and in depth, so that extra size helps prevent the bend that some people get when they're trying to pull comics out of the rack. And it also made it so you could put not only graphic novels and have them bagged and boarded, and they still fit with plenty of room, but you can bag and board even the widest Golden Age comics from the 30s, and it still fits.
Oh wow! How about will it fit magazine size or like a slabbed book?
That would be a whole separate design.
Okay.
You make it too wide, you can't really put 4 on there because they'll bump one another. Or you gotta make the rack 15 inches wide or 15-inch space on the floor. rather than the 12 it is now.
I see.
A bigger rack to accommodate an 8.5 by 11 size. Now,
that's still pretty awesome, though. As long as you like, I feel like most people that would buy this would probably have the standard size books, anyways, with bags and boards, or maybe not. You know.
Well, I figure if I made it wide enough that we can even do graphic novels and the Golden Age stuff, that would help a lot. And I've decided that I'm going to. All the feedback that I'm getting, such as what you said, will they take magazine size? Yeah. I'm considering down the road, maybe doing one that's magazine size, which would and change the whole depth a little bit, so that you could put CGC slabbed books in.
Yeah, I could see people using it for that too. Like,
you got to have that magazine width, and you got to have extra depth to allow for that, because they're more than 12 inches deep.
So,
but also, like, go ahead, Harry. I'm sorry.
You had 2 originals of your own that you owned, but how did you determine the dimensions when you gave it to the manufacturer to make these? Did you have to do like research and how?
I looked at this one and I said, I pulled out my measuring tape and said, okay, so they tend to be this high. I called a friend that owns a comic shop, and I told him what I wanted to do. And I said, measure the one that you've got there, the one because you've got the bigger top on it. If you go back and look at the picture of my old one in my office, you will see that there we go. It was the old metal one that wraps around, and it was more compact.
The one thing without getting into anything else that I like about yours, Dave, over these older ones, it's brighter. Like the white like really makes the comics pop. I think like it's just.
So I've got them in white. I've got them in black, and I also have, if like a publisher came along and wanted to offer these to retailers.
Okay.
Pick a name out of a hat. Let's say Mad Cave wanted to do Mad Cave exclusive racks. We could do it not only customized with their logo on all 4 sides, or their logo and any book logos they wanted, but if people buy 10 racks or more like that, we'll sell them wholesale, and we'll do any color.
Wow.
They want red, green, blue, yellow, whatever, we can do.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
So
looks like it's got a nice sturdy base too, so you don't have to worry about offset weight. Yeah, exactly. The books on this side are a little heavier than this side. No, you don't have to worry about that. It looks like
you don't have to worry about
base is pretty. Yeah, that base looks pretty secure.
Yeah, the base turned out to be heavier than the base on the old one that I had. And the old one, it was just the base set flat on the floor. This has a 4 little feet on it. So if your office or your comic shop, the floors aren't exactly even, you can make those adjustments to make sure it's even.
Maybe in the way future you can be like a Roomba, and have it like just around the room.
Make it a robot. Yeah, it can move around the shop.
Brings the comics to you. Yeah,
exactly right.
I like that.
One of the things I'm thinking of doing, as soon as this one gets fulfilled, is I've had a lot of artists, folks that do Artist Alley, ask me, when are you going to do a little one?
So, they put it on their table, right?
Yay high and be 3 comics up, so it would hold 12 comics all within that small space.
That would be cool. I know a lot of people that would take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah. Well, when you detach it, when you take it apart, won't the bottom part can it act that way as a smaller one? Like can't the bottom part act as a?
No, it's not. I think it's made to be one big hole, right?
If you look at where it forms here, it wouldn't quite.
Yeah, there's
we fiddled with that a little bit, and it's also it breaks apart at the 5 rack point, which is too high to put on a convention table.
Yeah.
And it just becomes unwieldy. If you have a 6 or an 8 foot table, it kind of overwhelms the space.
Yeah.
So I've already gone through all the design and stuff for the 12 pocket, and I think we'll do that next.
But here's
this is what I like the best. The bag.
You get the bag with it.
That's awesome.
This is all included in the price, Johnny, which is incredible.
Which is amazing because you know what? You can put it on your back. Like, I don't know if you've been that guy lugging a bunch of shit through a convention hall to get to Artist Alley table. Like, have you ever tried lugging all your shit
here
from McCormick Place
yeah.
C2E2? And it feels like you're never going to get to your table. And it's like heavy and you're like, it's a test of strength. Well, you made it so much easier for people to get their displays to the convention show floor. It's got wheels on it. God bless you, David. You're a smart man.
And by the way, if people like the bag with the wheels and want it for other stuff, we're selling the bag separately too.
Oh,
there you go.
Actually, that's a great idea.
That's a
need
great
one of
idea.
those.
Yeah,
then this is the best part right here too, Johnny.
I wonder why.
The topper. Well, no, I'm not tooting my own horn, but the topper card can be customized to whatever you want. So if you want to advertise your book, you put your logo right here on the the topper cards. We just kind of did the generic ones. Like that you see.
So
Hey Kids Comics, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So for the people who haven't checked out the Kickstarter yet, it comes with those first two that you showed, and they're comics, collect them all, and the best in comics. And then if people want to swap them out with other ones, we have the Hey Kids Comics.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
And, I love it.
And what was the other? What's the fourth one? I'm even forgetting now.
Was it Collect Them All, or is that one? No. God, I don't remember what the fourth one was.
But anyway, we got 4 in the set, and we give the option to folks if they want to have their company logo or their
there it is, World's Greatest Comic
on there. We can. Your logo here. We can customize it however they want. They want one new graphic that's going to fill all 4. Great. If they want 4 different ones, we can do that too.
That's
awesome.
Isn't
that awesome? Like
very cool.
Yeah,
and I love that you got the T-shirts too. That's so good. And this is. I mean. And the other thing too, Dave, mention like the price, like your price with shipping versus what a rack
all right
would be.
Let's say you managed, if Diamond by some miracle had theirs in stock, $400 plus 150 to 200 shipping, it would run you as much as $600. I've got them right now for $379, including shipping anywhere in the U.S.
Isn't that insane, Johnny? Like, I mean,
that's insane.
And his product is better than the one that they've made in the past. Like, it's insane. Like, I love that you did that.
And if you have anybody watching internationally or even in Canada, how pricey things are to Canada. We found a loophole. Shipping to Canada is only another $25.
Oh man, so good.
Not bad at all.
Add $25 over top of that. You can get it in London. You can get it in Paris. You can get it in Barcelona. So we can ship it to Europe for $50 over the $379 price.
Our friend Hades over at ASAP Imagination would be happy to hear that he could bring this product over to the UK for the Anyone World shows over there.
That would be very cool. Or, they could buy them in bulk from us and resell them over there.
That's not that bad of an idea, too. That's pretty cool. And so the other thing I wanted to mention is congratulations on smashing the goal in the campaign. You're already at 17K. You're stepping over your goal. 47 backers at 47 days left. It's almost like
it's a magical number.
Back it and play the lottery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I remember I watched one. Was the video? is the video of you assembling it on the Kickstarter video, Dave?
That button right there should take you to it if you want to show.
Yeah, Johnny, he made a video of him putting it together, which I think would be helpful for people to see.
I watched it earlier. Timer on it? I was gonna say let's roll that.
Yeah,
footage.
it's maybe a minute.
Like a minute.
That's a minute.
Yes. All right, so
roll that footage.
Play it. So great.
There you go.
Such a good product, Dave. Like, I feel like people, like, I run into people all the time that want to get a spinner rack. So hopefully the word gets out. You know, you're going to keep the Kickstarter open after.
Sure.
Okay.
But, you know, I would really like to surpass 100 backers soon, because my minimum order was 100, and then.
So you might be the foremost expert in spinner racks now, right? I mean, who else is doing? Who else is doing this? Yeah, who else is doing this?
You know, there was a guy 6 or 7 years ago that did a classic spinner rack on Kickstarter, and I think he had a couple of hundred people buy, and he made them available afterwards. But his were like in 2018 dollars. They ended up being like, I don't know, $449 with shipping. So mine's cheaper than the 2018 price when you take all that into account. But his, of course, was just the classic rack and pricey to ship and didn't come apart. So I wanted to do something different and make it kind of cool and have the folks who've always wanted a comic rack to have it more in their price range. So.
Plus you figured out all the different things that I think a creator would want, you know, like to bring it to a show.
Oh yeah,
have the customizable part, you know.
I tried to look at it from every point of view. Not only what did I have to do to manufacture it and make that part of it work, but if I were buying it, what would I want it to do? And I realized such things as, well, when you go to assemble it, your first time assembling it's going to be a little longer than your next times, because when you disassemble, you're not going to take out those 4 feet, and there's thing. I'm just going to leave that for when I get back to the office or to the store and set it back up. So the idea that you can do that in like 8 minutes. Once you know what you're doing, it's worth having, and if you use it for a while, it's like, oh my god, you know, I've redesigned this, or my wife doesn't want me displaying the comics anymore, and whatever it might be, it'll disassemble and you can stick it in the closet till you're ready to use it.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It also looks like it's got a smooth turn, so you know, it's nice.
Everything about it is perfect.
Yeah, well, for sure. If you look at the old racks, they had their little ball bearings that went in at the bottom, but the way they were covered with a little plastic thing that eventually broke and would fall off, and then you started getting the squeaky spinner rack.
Right.
Yes. And so we designed a different ball bearing system that sits between two metal things to protect it. And so the glide is much smoother than I remember them being.
Yeah, that's
an add-on feature that has like a little like button you could turn on the squeak if you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, you know how Tesla, like for like the silent Teslas, you could turn on the feature where it sounds like an engine.
What a great idea!
I'll build that into the next one. Yeah,
there you go.
And so, what does it weigh? What does it weigh with the bag?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Actually,
it's about 60 pounds because
it's
essentially the same weight as the other one, because if you go lighter, you're going cheaper and less sturdy.
Yeah,
and it had to be the powder coated steel to make sure that it would last for decades.
You should find a way to get on Shark Tank and like sell this thing like to the masses, you know, like.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think the masses are interested in a comic rack, but
not comic, but
our masses are interested in
it.
Well,
exactly.
Couldn't it work with like a dentist's office or a doctor's office or any kind of thing like that? You know, I'm sure they could, right?
Oh, sure, but then you're and these are all things we talked about here. You know, you get into different sizes and so forth, and if they're going in a place that's never going to move, these people have plenty of places that they can buy racks that'll hold magazines or little booklets or flyers or whatever. But these were designed for the comic size. But you know, anything people want them for, I'm happy to supply it to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so yeah, if you guys want to check out the classic spinner rack, it is in the description of the video if you're watching this tomorrow, or I just put it also in the chat, so if you guys can check it out. But also, like, Dave also has a bunch of Kickstarters that are still open if you're looking for comics from him as well. We got the Jade Warriors, which was what Dave and Mike Diodato came on with us originally a few months ago. They just finished the Thunder Soars recently.
Oh, I love doing Thunder Soars.
Oh yes, yeah. You were going to mention what you were going to tell us a little bit about the Thunder Soars.
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I enjoyed Land of the Lost, the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, you look at movies like Jumanji and that sort of thing, and I thought, all right, so what would be a sort of a Land of the Lost kind of thing for a contemporary audience? So I did this dynamic of a hot older sister, younger brother, both very bright, parents' accident with, you know, whatever the double talk is to get them into this land of these dinosaurs, and it sort of becomes Lord of the Rings light, because it's this big battle of the evil trolls and this magical race beneath the ocean, and the trolls trying to destroy all this whole dinosaur civilization to take over the land. And so these kids are dropped smack dab in the middle of it, and it's their adventure.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, so check out Thunder Soars as well. And then also Skyclad, which is the one Dave brought me in to do the lettering on. And I know Harry wants this one just from the series, right, Harry?
My well, as an artist, I appreciate. Yeah.
But this was honestly, like, I gotta admit, like, you know, outside of the surface stuff, like, you know, seeing a hot girl and everything, this story is actually really good. Like, it deals with like witchcraft and like this girl trying to escape her past, and it's
very
really good stuff.
Kelly LeBrock, very Kelly LeBrock-ish.
She does. I told you the artwork is gorgeous on this.
She's right. Yeah. Whoa, I'm sorry. I didn't even know you were getting dressed. Sorry. Oh wait.
This was an amazingly fun book to do, and Michael Dukavich was the right guy to draw this, because he was willing to put the time in.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go through. He's not just drawing generic comic book bodies.
Right.
You know, different characters have different faces and bodies, and there's a lot of body language and gesture and expression, a real storytelling that you don't see in a lot of the artists today. And you know, every page hand drawn, hand inked on on paper, so no digital.
That's cool.
Yeah, I gotta admit, like it's sad that he's not doing artwork anymore because like he's such a talent, like unbelievable. Yeah, it's good stuff. Like so these are all still open for the Kickstarter does those late pledges things now, which is great. So you can get all these books on top of, you know, buy the spinner rack and then order these books to put in them. There you go.
There you go.
Love that idea.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dave's been making comics for how many years now, Dave?
Oh my gosh. I saw my first comic book scripts in 1982.
Wow.
Last month was 42 years in the business.
42 years.
Wow.
Crazy.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
42 more.
Yeah, right.
Well,
so good.
I love doing this. So it's a lot of fun. Anybody that goes into those Kickstarters, they'll also find in the add-ons, they can order any of the 16 previous Kickstarter things that we have.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there's issues of Bonsai Girl and Exposure and Jade Warrior's calendar and posters and prints and all this other stuff that's available there. So it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's great. And then you said after this, you got another comic that you're going to be doing.
Oh yeah.
What was that? What was the name of that one?
I've got the next two planned. The first being Legends of the Stargrazers, which was a project that I did back in the innovation days. Okay. And thought I'd bring that back because what we saw, the difference between Thundersars, which was a fun, wonderful all ages thing, and a project like Skyclad, well, it's mainly adult guys that are buying this stuff, so they want to see the babes.
Yeah.
All right. So things like Jade Warriors did well because it's Mike Diodato drawing babes.
Yeah.
Skyclad did great with that. So Legends of the Stargrazers is outer space babes, and it has a mighty cool story to go with it too. And it has, along with the main story, it has legends that go along with it, and artists like Thomas Yates, who's been working on Prince Valiant. These days. Okay. He has two legends in there. The late great Nestor Redondo has a legend in there. So there's all this wonderful artwork in there. And then when we're done with that, we'll come back with a more economical version of Jade Warriors as a trade paperback.
Oh, okay.
Printer even sent me an advance copy. So,
oh, nice. That looks great.
Nice. Beautiful.
So,
did you order that, Johnny, when they were on the show?
I did.
Oh, nice.
I backed that one.
Very cool.
Yeah. So just like with the hardcover, it has two covers. So it has the Lisa Marie Scott photo cover as the variant, and has the Diodato art cover for the main one.
Very cool.
So
so I bet that will do well too. Like, people that missed it the first time around.
I try to keep this stuff fun.
Yeah, you got to.
I appreciate you because you seem like an inventor, an idea man. I kind of have a list of ideas myself that just for fun. Like if you're broken down in your car, like instead of like getting out of your car and putting down street cones and to warn people, you can have like a 3D projected street cones. You know what I mean? Or like
a hologram.
Hologram, exactly, right? Or what if somebody behind you is like honking at you, or someone's carjacking your car? The whole back window can be like a digital display, like saying help or whatever,
and now you got to figure out how to get those manufactured and out there.
Yeah,
exactly. There's like so many ideas, right? So many ideas, like, and then
retrofit.
Maybe when you're airplanes, instead of like. During the time I was in Greece, coming back from Greece when the shoe bomber was on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think my other idea was put all your luggage, that you carry on, put it in the bottom part of the plane. Any sign of trouble, eject the bottom half of the plane, and the whole thing blows up, and you can keep going. You know what I mean? Like all the bombs.
I don't know if I subscribe to that one.
Yeah. What are you, James Bond villain?
The mass eject of all of all. Everybody's good.
So that would make a great piece in one of these comic scripts.
Yeah, it would. That would be a great, that'd be a great character in a comic, like coming up with these wacky ideas or something.
That concept sounds like it belongs in Space Oddities.
Yes, which is our next guest. But Dave, thank you for coming on the show and sharing this rack with everybody. Like I honestly, and I've been praising it to you in DMs and everything when we started working on it. I think it's such a great idea, and I think a lot of people will want one of these. So hopefully we can help signal boost it out there to get people to notice it. And
well, this will be the first time in my life anybody's come up to me and said, "Hey, nice rack."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, right.
And they're not talking about the comic book.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry.
That's awesome. All right, Dave, anything else you want to you shout out before we let you go and we bring in the next guest?
I think that'll do it. I thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking the time, David. Greatly appreciate it, man.
Nice time. Come back in a few months when you got a few more Kickstarters going, and we'll take a look at those and help you promote those as well.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Good night, Dave. All right.
Take care, Dave.
Awesome.
That spinner rack. That thing's
Johnny, I told you. I saw it like when he was starting to tell me about it.
The bag. I'm sold on the bag alone.
Right? Like, I mean,
bag alone.
But all of that at the price is incredible. And to have the customizable stuff, like it looks like a solid, it's not like a crappy Temu, Temu made like comic rack. It's like a legit one,
I say for those of you comic creators out there that exhibit at shows and you're trying to fuck with like having a walk-in style booth, that's the type of rack you want. That's how you want to display your comics.
Absolutely. So, so let's keep the show moving.
Without further ado.
Yeah, right. Well, me and us three can shoot the shit at the end once our guests come in. But our second guest tonight has a comic book called Space Oddities, which I think, Harry, you said you had a chance to read it, right? What was your
the first two issues? Yeah, the first two
issues. Yeah, and what was your initial thoughts on this, or should we bring the creator in first?
Bring the creator in.
Yeah, let's bring the creator. Hold that thought. We'll bring the creator in. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let me just take a quick look. We haven't even said anything to the chat tonight.
I know. Let's get the creator in first, and then run through the chat.
Okay, perfect.
He's been in the back too long. Let's get him in.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, Ben.
Ben, thank you first of all for being patient.
Thanks for your patience.
That's what happens when you reach out to folks a month before your Kickstarter goes live,
Yeah. Well, no, but thank you for being patient in the back room. Like we kind of started to like schedule everything out, but like sometimes we get to talking and it goes a little long, unfortunately.
You gotta cover the stuff, man. Plug the
things. Right. Before we get into Space Oddities, which I'm curious to find out about, I'm just gonna zip through our chat real quick and say hello to our audience tonight. Of course, we got Ara with us. Greetings, all. What's up?
Good to see you, buddy.
My wife, of course,
hey,
Amy, the lovely Amy. Good evening. And we got DS Cartoons with us.
Yes,
I have arrived. Back. What's up, DS? RJ Carter's in the chat. Killer RJ. Crew on tonight, Keith. Thank you, RJ. Good to see you, man. Who else we got? DS says you're making a very versions spinner rack. Some of the comics.
Yeah, I think he means versatile.
Versatile, yeah.
Versatile spinner rack, yeah.
Unhinged is with us tonight. He says, I'm here. Let's start the show. Amy mentioned that the spinner rack was very sweet and she likes the portability about it. Let's see what else we got. Spinner racks need to come back to grocery stores and such. I could not agree 1,000%. Space Oddities comic. Look at this. I can't remember the last time I say comics at a grocery store. That's true. I'm telling you, that's comics' major problem is they don't have the visibility anymore.
That's where I used to read comics, or like Mad Magazine, or what's the other one? Crack Magazine. At Market Basket.
Yeah, we don't have any of that anymore.
No,
movie theaters. That's where comics need to be sold, at movie theaters.
I agree. Something like that.
That's how you got into it as a kid, man. You like you're a kid, your parents aren't going to take you to the comic shop, but necessarily, but
no, you
like,
found them in those places that you were dragged to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was the way to go. Yeah. Amy said scary flights tangent with Harry tonight.
Oh, sorry.
We got Jess with us. Hey, Jess, thanks for joining us.
I think that's my friend Jess, but I'm not too sure.
Nice. Yeah, there's a couple new faces tonight. That's awesome. And that catches us up for the chat. Thank you guys for watching as always, So yeah, Ben, first time on the show. We always ask our guests first time how you kind of got into making comics, or were you was there something you read in the past, something you watched that kind of put you on this path to becoming a creator?
Yeah, I mean, it's my co-creator John Williams. He was supposed to join us tonight, but he's hacking up a storm. He's not feeling very well, so I'm here coughing.
Well, send him our
better.
Yeah,
feel better soon.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been a comics guy his entire life. He was a big DC kid. I was a Marvel kid. We went to school together, and we've always kind of talked about ideas and things. And a lot of the times we had more ambition than actual drive. So we'd want to do something, we'd talk about it and like get stuff working, and then wouldn't kind of really do anything with it. And he's always wanted to be a comic artist. And I've always liked, spinning yarns and coming up with gags and interesting ideas and stuff. And so, like the idea for Space Oddities, technically, we came up with it like 25 years ago when we were.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we were like, 20-year-old stoners sitting around the garage talking about stuff.
That's when the best ideas come out, right?
Yeah, and it was originally we wanted to do it as like an animated series, like a Adult Swim kind of thing, because John was
a very animated style to it. The artwork for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and he was going to cartoon college at the time, or about to leave for cartoon college because he got his degree in animation. And
did he go to Kubert School, or was it somewhere else?
No, he went to somewhere down in
Rhode Island one.
Down in Long Beach, California.
Oh, Long Beach. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not sure which school exactly it was, but again, it kind of just fizzled out and didn't necessarily go anywhere. And then after a while, like I moved away, I came back, and then it was like, we were talking about it again. We're like, well, let's just why haven't we done it? Let's just do it.
So you're in California? Is that where you are?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, very nice. So you 3 hours.
Yeah, so it's not too late here yet. Haven't even
right.
That's great.
7 o'clock.
No, that's awesome. And like, were you guys in was Space Oddities? Was that inspired by some of the shows you grew up with? Is that where?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah, like our the tagline that we've been using is that it's kind of like Hitchhiker's Guide meets Indiana Jones. So it's a goofy universe with with some nice some adventure and stuff going on. And I mean, there's definitely loads of old sci-fi. Like, I mean, I was always a big Trek fan, and we were both Star Wars fans. Like it was the hardest part with this book for me was because we're going kind of goofy and silly. It was like I'm a big Trek fan, so I love hard sci-fi. So like my brain wants to be like when I first sat down, I was trying to make like a Bible for the show, or for the comic. And so I was trying to say like, okay, here's this, kind of cement the lore in my own head. And I went on a tangent for like 30 minutes thinking about how time was supposed to work in like a galactic empire.
No, it definitely feels like a Star Warsian type story, because you have the girl, hitching a ride with the guys, to go find her mom or whatever, so it's kind of like there's like a story, like an adventure, like kind of like Luke trying to find his dad, or whatever.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You're talking to the king of tangents, Harry, right now.
right.
There's so many things that came to mind as I was reading issue 1, like old comics, the Minuteman came to mind, Men in Black, obviously, for the obvious reasons, but also like Cowboy Bebop, where you have like the trio of characters. They all kind of like fit well in that regard. In the sense of humor that permeates through the book is just awesome. It's just so good. It's almost like you have a very firm grasp on how sitcoms operate. and the dialogue and the banter used in sitcoms, because it permeates through the books so very nicely. It's almost like it's built to be an animated series, you know?
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely the concept, and that was what stopped us from doing it for years. It was like, because making an animated short is a lot of freaking work.
Yeah, it's a lot of money too.
A lot of work and money.
It's hard to just walk in and like get one made, you know.
Yep, and John, he'd been drawing comic characters and stuff for years. We'd done another like anthology, a couple pieces in a local anthology book a while back on like a time travel story, and he'd done a couple books for a local guy named Evan Burgoon on a book called B Squad, and then we thought, like, well, we could do a comic, like we can draw a comic and we could put it on Kickstarter, and we don't need to sell it to anybody. We can just make it and see what happens.
I love that spirit. I love that spirit. You guys just did it. Hell's yeah.
That's why indie is so like cool. Awesome, right? Like exactly. It's rebel. Exactly. It's like you know what I mean? You're beholden to no one but yourself. Yeah. Creative team, you know, it's so good.
The other thing I really liked about Space Oddities as I was reading it was that it reminded me of an animated series it's fairly recent. It's called Final Space. I don't know if you've seen it or so it reminded me of Final Space in the sense that Final Space was a very funny, sometimes cutely animated series, but it also dealt with very heavy themes and some dark tones and things like that. And it seems like Space Oddities isn't afraid to venture into that territory as well.
No, yeah, we want the story to be good too. You know, gags are great, but I don't know if they would satisfy me in carrying the story. You know, I want some meaning, characters with meaningful interactions and have some character growth. It was kind of like a serialized idea at first, where it'd be more like, it wouldn't necessarily be as narrative as it ended up being. The original idea was more like Adult Swim cartoons, where there's the characters and they're set and they kind of do their thing every week. And there's not necessarily a through line, but as we started writing it, it became a lot more narrative than that, and I think for the better.
Do you feel like when you decided to do a comic that like the writing kind of shifted, like you started thinking more of it in comic terms rather than like a TV show pilot or something like that?
Yeah, yes and no to a degree. Like, I mean, we still kind of had the same goals, but like the first issue starts with like a cold open essentially, and that was the first thing we put out. Was that the first 10 pages we put it out as a cold open before the whole comic came out.
Okay.
And it was kind of like an Indiana Jones cold open where it just jumps right into it. There's a little bit of an adventure, and then the story starts thereafter. So it's still kind of a bit of a cinematic feel in our minds, thinking through how we want it to work. And the first arc is going to be is planned to be 6 issues. The third one is the one we're almost done with it now. Hopefully we have it out by the end of the month here is the goal.
Oh, awesome. So you're going to do 6 issues and then you have more planned beyond that?
Yeah, a loose plan on kind of where we want to go with it. But that's kind of like the first 6 issues is kind of would be like the movie or something essentially, where that like it sets the characters, who everybody is, who's who on the crew, and your situation's kind of set, and then you kind of go on from there.
I gotcha. Yeah, and then plus you can collect it into a volume, or you could even do 3 and 3. Like you have 3 issues now. You could do collect the first 3 into a book if you want, or depends how you want to do it.
Yeah, the first 3 is about 100 pages because like one of the nice things about being your own man.
Yeah, you go as long as you want. As long as you can get the money to do it.
Yeah, each issue is kind of the length it needs to be. So the first one was like 40 pages because like we figured out this is what we want to tell in the first issue, and then we page it out. And we're like, shit, that's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. Well, sometimes you just need that extra pages because like you see sometimes with like someone that's making their first book where it's like lots of splash pages, and then towards the end when they're running out of pages, it's like 10 panels on a page. You know what I mean? It's like the pacing is all over the place. So it's good that you allowed it to breathe by having the extra pages. Sometimes I feel that helps,
Yeah, no, and John's an excellent visual storyteller. Like he's really good about
he's good. I'm looking at on my other screen. I have. Let me pull it up while we're talking. I was looking at the images from your Kickstarter, and yeah, you're right. I love his artwork. I think he draws characters well, like the faces.
Yeah,
and everything like has this fun style about it. Like it's just
everyone has their own personality and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I attached to the characters very quickly in reading.
Did you really? Like, both you and Harry read it. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read it, Ben, but both these guys were speaking very highly of it. Like,
is it George or Jorge?
Jorge makes sense.
I've been reading it as George, and just looking at him, he seems like a George to me. But Jorge, I got it.
Yeah. So Harry, did you have any thoughts on the book too? Or
no, I thought it was funny. I liked the Build a Splorf in the mall. I loved I mean, the artwork's amazing. Yeah, the artwork's amazing.
This variant is really cool.
Yeah, that's RL Black. He's he does a lot of like horror stuff, and I wanted to get kind of that old
it has like that old EC vibe to it. Weird Planet or Weird Science Tales or something.
Yep. In this issue, we're introducing the new character, the main guy there, Ray Gunderson, and so there's going to be like it was planned. We were going to do like a short little like vignette kind of vintage either EC style or like an old like a more cartoony looking thing. We're staging the style up for that, and we were going to do like a little 3-page, like here's a little adventure, like this is who this guy is.
I love that.
And then I wrote out a script for it, and I really liked it, and like we went over it, and John's like, this is going to be like 14 pages, and we're like, oh, okay, maybe not. And then like we ended up going back to it, saying actually it's good, so screw it, like we can throw 14 pages in the middle of the book. Who cares?
Yeah, that's where you're not beholden to anybody,
Yeah. So basically, since it ended up being 14 pages, I had RL Black basically draw the cover for what that story would have been as one of the instruments.
Nice. Love seeing the pencils and inks too.
And some of it throws a pulpy vibe too, which I love.
Yeah. Yep.
You could tell he studied like like an animation kind of style, because like even like this page, the storytelling is so on point. Like I always judge a comic artist, besides like how well they're detailed their works is, but I fall more on the simpler side. I like simpler artwork, but you can always tell a great comic artist is if you can follow what's going on without words.
Yeah, definitely.
And your artist definitely has that,
Absolutely.
And I'm a big fan of Bruce Timm, so I love that simple style of artwork like that he had, and that's why I have such an appreciation for Jack Kirby now too. Just I love that, that's that kind of style of artwork. So
and I think that's John was trying to do too, like a Bruce Timm, more of a Bruce Timm style for the Ray Gunderson adventure.
Yeah, please pass my kind words on to him. He nailed it 100%. Like, let him know that I really liked his artwork a lot here. So, but yeah, no, and I'm happy to see you guys nailed the campaign on the 3rd issue. That means, you probably got a strong audience now. Have you seen growth over the 3 Kickstarters?
Yeah, a little bit. There's definitely the a core group that comes back. It's been the same on everyone, where it like shoots up at first right away, and then kind of like levels off for.
I feel like that's every campaign,
and I just get nervous. Like, what the hell's going on? And then in the last like 4 days, it shoots up the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of that happens a lot to everybody.
I feel like I should just do like 8-day campaign and just cut the middle.
Yeah, right. Unless you're Keanu Reeves, I don't think you see like that growth every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Johnny, I mean, can you remember a guest that's ever come on the show that's had a Kickstarter that's gone gangbusters every day? Like, I feel like that's the same pattern we hear every time. So, you're not unique, Ben, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I'm probably part of the problem, because I know I'll see a project and be like, that looks pretty cool, and I'll like save it, and then I'll wait till I get the thing like 2 days until this. We're like, oh, better go do it now.
Yeah, right. So how long does it take you guys to churn out an issue generally? Is it like
too
4
long
to 6 months?
It probably could. Right now, it's probably closer to like 9 months to a year. Between 2 and 3, there was a pretty big gap because there were some health issues, and like we did 2, we had a little bit, we weren't as done as we would have liked to have been, and so there was a lot of cramming, and there was some, I think John had to move, and he got married, and all this stuff going on while he was trying to finish the book, and he just got a little burnt out on it, so he took a couple months off from doing anything, just to kind of refine the passion and everything, and so like we try and get one, get it out at least, no longer than a year, but try and compress it if we can.
Yeah.
Is Jorge kind of based on you? You guys look kind of similar, but looking at this.
He does have the mustache.
Well,
I've got more hair though, thankfully.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Now, as the writer, I mean, do you guys collaborate when it comes to the story itself, or is it more just, are you strictly writing and he's strictly illustrating?
No, we created it, like, we came up with it together, and we write every script together. It's okay. What we do basically is we've got all our story beats out, and we know everything that's going to happen, and we kind of go through all that, and then we actually both go off and we'll write our own scripts, like completely separate of each other. And then we'll meet back up and be like, all right, that's funnier. Put that in there. Oh, that's a good idea. Put that in there.
Oh, so you guys do it separately like that, huh?
Yeah,
like a writer's room.
We know where it starts and where it ends, and some of the beats in between when we step away. But then we each write our own script.
Oh, interesting. Like I used to work when I was doing the Hero Envy web series with a bunch of guys. The way we used to do it was there was 3 writers essentially, and one of us would take the lead when we would write the spine or the entire script.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that first draft was done, it went to the other 2 guys to kind of go through and add the jokes that they liked, or kept, kick the ones out that they didn't like, add more jokes. And we basically round robined it the entire time until it went through like 4 revisions, and then we had the best with all the best jokes, that kind of thing. So that's interesting that you guys wrote 2 separate scripts and then you kind of like smashed it together. That's interesting.
Yeah, they're on the same bones at least. So like we're telling the same story. You're not trying to we're not trying to go different directions. It's just kind of how we interpret the characters acting in the situation.
You guys sit and talk about write the outline together, so you kind of know where the whole bones are. That's cool. That's a cool idea.
It's like a writer's room, which is great. But
I like
the 2 of you guys. I love that. Love that process. You guys really break it down, do your own take of it, and you distill and take the best of both of your worlds and kind of put it together in the final product. Like that's how it should be done. That's a great way to work.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. We both have, like I said, we came up with this idea 25 years ago. So we have a pretty good idea of who all the characters are, and a consistent idea between the 2 of us on who they are and how they'd act in any given situation, which helps. And we've only come to like loggerheads on a few things where it's like, no, I really like mine better. And so, I like mine.
Well,
better.
That's when the moment where you're going to fight for it, right?
Yeah. And then, you pick your
we've had a few moments like that too, But yeah, no, that's good. That's great. And I was going to ask too, Ben, is this the first comic series you've ever made? Like, have you done other comics?
We did one also together years and years ago for an anthology called Travels in Time. Got a couple guys that.
Oh yeah, you mentioned the anthologies that you guys did some stuff.
But other than that, that's it. I started lettering this book because John, he's doing all the art, so it's like as a guy that writes it, I feel like I'm kind of like what do I do? Like how do I help? And I'm colorblind, so I can't color for shit. So,
Ben, you got this bad boy?
I do. It's right. It's right here.
Oh, wow.
Okay, perfect. Whenever lettering comes up, I cannot recommend that book enough. I mean, I letter my own stuff, and that book is a lifesaver. Let me tell you.
Lettering Bible.
Yeah,
it is. It honestly is.
It pretty much is. Yeah, by Nate Picos. It's freaking great.
I've read it cover to cover. I've earmarked a bunch of the pages so I can go right back.
See, that's how you know you're really into what you're doing, because you just can't get enough of
reference guide.
Right? Yeah, like learning and like you're living it. You know, like.
Well, yeah, and I
get better.
When you read that book, all of a sudden you get appreciation for lettering, which you never had before. Mm-hmm. Would you say, Ben?
Oh, yeah. Well, going on what you say first, like it seems like something that you look at and you go, oh, anyone could do that. It's just you just put some letters in a bubble.
Yeah,
and
you just throw a balloon on there. What am I doing here? Yeah,
and then you do it a little bit, and you read something that's got really bad lettering, and it's painful.
Yeah. and do you guys notice it wherever you go, like lettering everywhere? Like,
well,
like
that's the log
sure.
line of lettering. You don't notice when it's good.
Yeah.
You only notice when it's awful. You know, so
we have to reread a panel 3 times because you're not sure who's saying what in what order.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then even like some modern books, I look and I'm like, why'd the letterer place the balloon right there? Like I was looking at a book today and there was 2 people talking. So it's this wide panel, right? 2 people talking, facing each other in the center of the panel. And the letterer had both sides with like just a bunch of open space. And he put the balloons like right on top of the characters.
Right on the art.
Yeah. Like, well, right on their bodies underneath their head. And I'm like, why did he do that? Like, it's like, why didn't he just use that space on the side? There literally was nothing there, you know, no background, nothing. And I was like, why did he do that? It was such an interesting choice. And it's a published book from Boom Studios. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
Well,
Boom, I'm hiring, by the way. You know, you can hire me, by the way, if you're looking for letters. But
and I've started lettering a couple other books that a couple of my other friends do as well. So
that's great. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
I do that
that's
on the
side.
It's
like being a graphic designer too, because everywhere I go, I trying to guess the font. You know what I mean? Oh, Papyrus or whatever it is, whatever the font is.
Yep, I see that all the time. See that
on
right. Movies. Everything.
I can't escape it. Like, I'm like, oh, what is that font?
Yeah.
Font is lettering is the score of a comic book, the way it is for a film. So if you think of it that way, it's very, it's very integral to the whole process.
Yeah. Especially doing sound effects and stuff like that. I've had a lot of fun. Like they're way more time consuming, but it's so much more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it brings depth.
You learn how to integrate it into the artwork, and
that's a good question. So when you guys decide on lettering, do you guys like pick like a family, like a maybe 5 fonts that you like, and then reuse those all the time, or do you get like adventurous?
Depends on the book. Like I often like look at the story, and then I look at the artwork, and I kind of like, okay, well, the dialogue should be this kind of like. I just finished Johnny. I just finished Ryan Santos' book.
Oh yeah,
It's a detective book. So like I was like, well, let me do like a grittier, smaller dialogue. I kind of use the same kind of font that I used for your Pond short that we did.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was like more like a detective-y kind of thing. And then I made the choice to not do just have the whiteness of the balloons and no border on it. So it kind of, because the way Ryan did the artwork, I felt like it didn't need borders around the balloons, and it came out really nice. Looks good. So that's how I kind of I look at the artwork, Harry, and I kind of see what kind of story it is, and then I kind of work it that way. Like you think of it in design, like a design kind of sense, and that like how a character talks. Like a detective is like a gruff, like a hard drinking detective. So I was like, I need like this kind of font that's like kind of little rough around the edges, so that's how
I think back to like Sin City, like hard again, right? Like that kind of thing. Yep,
absolutely.
Now Ben, on the campaign, if there's a tier that you would recommend for somebody just coming aboard that wants to be able to see everything here, I mean, what would you point people to?
I mean, if you wanted to get caught up, I'd go with the catch up bundle. There's we got one bundle. I'm trying to remember how much it was. I think like
you have all 3 in there, right?
Yeah, it's basically all 3 issues. It's 100 pages of comics. You get to pick
physical. That's physical.
That is physical. Or no,
your prices are good too for the amount of pages that you get. Your prices are really solid, actually.
Yeah. I mean, try and make it affordable. I kind of feel bad like every time I go to the comic shop, I'm like, fucking $5 for a comic again. It's like, then you go to print them and you're like, oh, they're like $4 pop. Just print them for me. So
it puts things in perspective, right?
This is kind of funny. Yeah, you actually put up a real ketchup bundle where you just get packs of ketchup.
Not only that, well, someone backed at it.
I know, that's so funny. Are you got to send them the comic though, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, yeah,
it's more expensive than the actual ketchup bundle. I think.
But you got to throw some packets in there.
They added on the comic, and I was like, "We're gonna send you the comic." Like,
That's funny, dude. That's really funny.
Since the campaign's over, like everything, all the commission stuff is closed. We just basically you can get the book now. John's always open for commissions. You can always send him a thing. Please wait till January if you want him to draw you something, because he's finishing the comic now. But yeah, we do a couple tiers during the camp. I did it in the first one as a joke, like I was saying, because I was like, well, I want to do something too. I need to help, right? And so I did it as a joke, like I'll draw you something too. And I'm not that great of an artist, so. But I had 5 people back at that, and at least 3 or 4 people backed at it every single campaign. And so I get to draw.
Sometimes crudely drawn things are pretty cool, actually.
I'm proud of them, but I feel bad charging someone for it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, because you don't know what people will like,
Yeah,
I like to point back to season 1 of every single one of our favorite cartoons. The Simpsons season 1, they were all very crudely drawn.
Yeah,
look at Beavis and Butthead season 1. There were squiggly lines. This is very crudely drawn. Look at South Park, fucking
comic
construction paper.
Yeah,
who's that?
What comics of your favorite artists? Their older stuff is terrible usually.
I forget the name of the comic now. That bald comedian guy, therapist.
Dr. Katz.
Dr. Katz, right. Dr. Katz.
Dr. Katz, yeah.
Whole Movies, the same company that made that.
Yeah.
But no, this looks great. Everybody, I put the link to Space Oddities issues 1, 2, and 3 into the chat. It's also in the description of the video if you're watching this tomorrow. It is available. You can get it as it's late pledges. When are you planning to ship the issues, Ben? If someone wants to
near the end of this month. So
okay, so getting close.
Getting them out the door as soon as possible. Yeah, I just finished lettering the 3rd issue today or yesterday. So I got to kind of the first draft of it, at least we got to go through and maybe fix a few things, and then I've got to do a little bit on the I got to do the lettering on the little 14-page adventure thing. And then we just got to get it off to the printer. We use a local printer, so we're usually able to get it turned around within a week.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. So it might be a little late Christmas gift for everybody.
Yeah. That's the
And having read issue 1 and Harry reading issue 1 and 2, I mean, I can vouch to say this is a very fun book. So I highly recommend if you like any of the things that we mentioned earlier, like I said, Cowboy Bebop and things like that, Final Space, definitely back this book. Space Oddities is right up your alley.
Awesome. All right, Ben, anything else that you want to share with the audience, like your socials or any upcoming projects that you might have outside of Space Oddities?
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Space Oddities Comic. I'm not really anywhere else just because I hate social media. I wouldn't even be on Twitter if it wasn't like one of the main ways to get anybody to see your stuff.
Instead of many times myself, Ben.
Yeah, I can't. I just don't want to do another one.
I'm with you, Ben. I said that last week or last time we were live when we had the blue sky discussion. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do more. I can't.
Other than that, I've got John and I also we've got a podcast called Geek Exploration, the podcast. It's been
cool.
Semi hiatus, but we just kind of
what's your hook with the podcast?
I mean, it's basically we'll pick for the main episodes. We just pick a topic, like Ninja Turtles, Indiana Jones, Beetlejuice. What's one of the nerdy things we love, and we'll talk about it. So 2 white guys talking about nerd shit, real.
I like that. Now people can get that wherever, like where's the podcasts are available?
Yeah, anywhere you get podcasts. And then we're both also cast members on a show called Gate Leapers, put on by a friend of ours, Matt Watson. It's like a panel game show where they pick a topic and then lampoon it, and it's like a comedy game show, like a British panel show kind of thing. Except in
like Whose Line on kind of, or
yeah, it's got some improv stuff in it, but it more like
I'll have to check that out sometime. I like
basically come on, and it's like a game show, 2 teams. There's questions. It's all kind of making fun of whatever the fandom it is you're going over. You know that's the theme of that episode. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. I'll have to check. What's the name of that?
It's called Gate Leapers.
Gate Leapers. That sounds cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I love stuff like that. So do you do comedy at all, or have you tried it, or
like live comedy,
stand up? Yeah, like stand up, or
we went. I've been to a couple improv classes and was too nervous to really do anything. So.
Gotcha. But it comes out in the writing, right?
In the writing and behind the the veneer of a podcast.
Yeah.
I can sit in a room alone and not have a bunch of people staring at me.
Don't mind the man behind the curtain.
That's easier.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. This project looks great. I wish we could have had you on when it was live, but I'm glad you have the late pledges up so we can help push it still. And you sound like you bang this stuff out and you get it to people right away. So you fulfill your campaign. So that's huge. So everyone check that out. And I will get to your PDFs at some point when I have it with my pile of other PDFs to read. So I will read it at some point and check it out.
Yeah.
So
we've all got this.
That's why I got these guys. So they can check it out for me.
Right. You'll love it, Keith. It's good.
Yeah, it's good book. Very good book.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go. Ben, thank you again for joining us. And everyone check out Space Oddities. And we're going to move into our shameless self-promotion and our other segments here. So have a good one, Ben. Any last words before we let you go?
Any last words?
Thank you, gentlemen. Everybody check out Space.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for taking the time, man. Appreciate that.
Awesome. All right. So that's awesome, guys. I mean,
so honestly, I haven't been like super psyched about reading a book in a little bit. Like Space Oddities, awesome. Like very good book.
And it flew too.
Yeah, it was fun.
The reading,
Cool.
Yeah, the reading was fun.
Yeah, it was a very fun read.
I just wish when I do this, because I have so much going on, I just don't have time sometimes to read this stuff unless I have to do it for the show.
Yeah,
like I just had to read one recently, because I've been getting a lot of requests for the 5 questions segment for the show, which is cool. Anybody out there, if you want to do that, reach out to me. We do a video series on the channel called 5 Questions with an Indie Creator, and all I need to know is some info about your book and things like that. But I read a comedy one. I sent the guy a bunch of questions, and it was about the dating scene, like a guy using an app, but an app that's for like mythological creatures, like as a dating app. So
that's funny.
And it's funny. Like it has a lot of funny, like, that kind of stuff. So.
R.I.P. Chuck Woolery today.
Oh, no, really?
No
He died?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Bummer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to bring the show down.
Well, you're talking about dating. You're talking about dating games.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's.
Oh wow! How old was Chuck Woolery?
Oh, I don't know. I just heard Howard reporting the news today.
Oh man, didn't know that. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and what else? What else? Today, Elton John lost his eyesight. He's blind now.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he has some kind of he contracted some kind of disease or bacterial disease, and he can't see now. So
that's tragic.
Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, I remember him canceling dates on his tour. Now I know why.
Yeah, he's retired too. I think, isn't he retired? I thought he retired recently, but
because of that, I think
probably because of that.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, so we have another guest in the green room. So Johnny, you want to set this one up?
I'll set this one up. Yep.
Okay.
So this actually kind of ties into shameless self-promotion.
Okay.
It was at the Athol Comic Fest that we were
that's
all
cool.
at.
Yep.
I was very lucky to be adjacent to another creator by the name of PJ Curling.
Yeah,
and PJ is literally doing the thing that we've talked about in almost every single episode for the last year, and like how comics and wrestling go hand in hand.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Sure enough, PJ was there at Athol Comic Fest promoting a comic book that is a wrestling comic book. So reading this book was like watching the show Heels, like behind the scenes of wrestling and storylines and things like that. It was very authentic, very real deal, awesome story. So without further ado, I don't want to keep him waiting. Let's bring PJ in right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. Mr.
The
PJ
champ is here.
Hey, what's up, PJ?
Heck yeah,
guys, so good to see you again. How's it going?
Absolutely, man. It's been a couple minutes.
So I know this is way past PJ's bedtime, so I promised him we'd keep it nice and quick and tight. But
I told
thank
Johnny
you for
I need my
taking the
beauty
time,
sleep,
dude.
and I'm way behind on it.
I'm with you, PJ. I need my sleep too, man.
Yeah.
So we met at Athol a couple months ago. Comic Book Fest, great show. Love that show.
Had a great time.
A lot of great indie creators all in one room. Small library show, but it really fun. One of my favorites of the year. And it was that was your first show, right, PJ?
That was my second show.
Second.
It was
I don't know if I remember meeting you
promoting
the year before. Did we meet the year before? We might have.
No. So I did a show down here in Fall River in March to promote Taking Out the Dead, which was a campaign I did in the spring that failed miserably. And then Athol was my first one promoting Undisputed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, PJ, if you can bring the audience up to speed of just your history with wrestling specifically, and then wanting to get into comics, and then if you can kind of give everybody a little bit of the elevator pitch on Undisputed.
Sure. So I go back with wrestling to 1984. My mom's
good year.
Yeah. My mom's best friend from high school was on the audio production team for WrestleMania 1, 2, and or 3. So, I would get like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat autographs, T-shirts,
cool.
I got all that stuff. And then it was like The Rock and Wrestling and Hulk Hogan's cartoon show and all that. And I stayed with it, dipped in and out a little bit through the Aggression era, all that. And then in the early aughts, I was working in mixed martial arts, and I had a chance to meet Maven Bentley, who was the president of Combat Zone Wrestling, which kind of took over that hardcore, the hardcore scene in Philly. And, we would invite each other to each other's shows. So I got a chance to hang out backstage at a bunch of CZW shows and got to know Gabe Sapolsky, who was one of the original promoters of Ring of Honor. Just hung out kind of in that Philly scene for a little bit and had the privilege to be standing at the gorilla position for the last match of the last show at the original ECW arena, and had like Todd Gordon and New Jack do run-ins past me, and New Jack is legitimately a scary human being. Rest in peace, King. And so Undisputed is kind of my love letter to pro wrestling. Pro wrestling has given me so much over, I'm 40, I'm going to be 47 this spring. It's 40 years of my life with pro wrestling. Wow. And it draws from a lot of those experiences.
That's fantastic. Like, and I feel like you're beyond qualified to write a comic about wrestling. That's great.
Well, I did
the Dragon Steamboat. Oh,
yeah. Say again.
No, one of the few wrestlers that aged well. Ricky the Dragon.
Yeah,
he looks great today. Like, one of the few. But anyway,
I did send Maven the script for Undisputed and had him check it out, just make sure that I had all my technical wrestling details correct, and he gave it his seal of approval. And I actually credit him as the technical wrestling consultant for the
cool. Very cool. And What's the actual hook of this? Like, what's your elevator pitch for the comic? Like,
it's Lucha Underground meets Duo Powerbomb.
Okay.
You know,
I have the comic shared, Keith. If you want to,
let me bring it up.
If you can bring it up, I'll like some of the artwork's real beautiful.
Oh yeah, look at that. Looks great.
That so I have two artists, and the cover was done by Wederson Morantes, who's actually right now working on the cover for issue 2. And Wederson did 6 pages, which are the pages that happen in the wrestling ring. Okay. And then I had Francesco Iaquinta, who does Dark Untold for Scout Comics. He did the other 7 through 20, which happened kind of in the real world, because I wanted to show the separation of, that pro wrestling, that, life under the lights, life at the show versus the real world, where everything kind of has the volume turned down.
Yeah,
and
right.
the mix of the two styles, I think, came off great. I'm so happy with how the two styles blended.
Nice. Love the addition of a glossary here for terminology for people who aren't, who might be a more casual fan or whatever.
Great idea.
You have that in there. And look at the artwork. It's very dreamy. This painted like artwork. Is it actually watercolor? I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure what medium he's working in, but I do know that he's working fine. He's working in traditional media. I'm not sure if it's oil or water.
It's great. It's just, you see all the action too, which is nice.
And so in reading this, it also feels like this felt like watching a match, just the way it was called. So the attention to detail there with, PJ is just phenomenal in terms of a wrestling book. And then you're in the moment here, which is great. And then the title page. I just have to get to the title page, PJ. The quote you have on there is just so awesome. It made me smile, and I couldn't stop smiling. But
so you scroll past it, but there are a couple cameos in the first 6 pages. Francesco Iaquinta is our referee, and then the 3 announcers are all pro wrestling friends of mine, and the one in the middle is actually Maven Bentley, who is our technical consultant. So that's Carl Martin on the left, Maven Bentley in the middle, and then Salamander Jones on the right.
Very cool. And then when you get to the title page here, it's so fucking awesome. Great quote from Scott Hall. Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. So dope.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you also have the title right there.
That's awesome.
And then that's the start of Francesco's pages.
Yep. And that's great.
Each section. So I have this. This is going to be a 3-issue limited series. And each section of the story, each act, I guess, starts with a different quote. So I quote Eddie Kingston later on, and Brody Lee. There are a couple fun quotes that I think, I try to go deep cuts on them. So Johnny, I think you'll definitely appreciate them.
I saw issue 2's quote. It's Brody Lee, and I really love that. Well, Luke Harper, but Brody Lee. I love that. I love that. Great for more modern fans as well as just general wrestling fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just actually today started. So issues 1 through 3, that's a complete story. That's a finite story. But I started the sequel, I guess, today, and it starts off with one of my favorite CM Punk quotes. Because I'm a big fan of starting chapters with quotes. That's something I really enjoy.
I like it. Yeah, why not?
I'm not a CM Punk fan, but I would have to assume that this could have been a little tribute right here, a little cross-legged in the middle of the ring.
No, it really wasn't. That was
was it?
No, that was just Wederson taking what I wrote and making it his own a little bit.
Oh, that's cool. I thought it was a little CM Punk reference. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But either or, that's really cool. I love that.
So this is planned as a 3-issue mini, you said, PJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the goal, my hope is that we launch our Kickstarter campaign tomorrow at 7 a.m. My hope is that we can get enough cash, bring in enough capital that we can jump right into doing issue 2. And I would like to see all 3 issues out by the end of 2025. So, the sooner the better, obviously. But I think realistically, if we can have this done in a 12-month cycle, I think I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's very doable too. As far as a goal goes, I think that's absolutely doable. I don't know if you have the link handy, PJ, but I'd say share it in the chat. And then what we can do is we can blast that out in the comments to the audience. Because if you're going to go live tomorrow morning, they can notify right now. So as soon as you hit that live button, they'll get that email and they can stay on top of it. Now,
and also, I'm online at teamninjashark.com. So I have a newsletter that I run through Substack, and then I've also obviously got a link to the campaign page right there on the front page of my website. If people want to go
definitely.
that route.
We talk wrestling on this show all the time, so
more often than not.
Yeah, more often than what. So
one of these days, we all got to get to a show together.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Saturday night's main event starts December 14th.
I think I'm going to be there.
Oh, are you going to go?
Island. Yeah, I think I'm going to be there.
Where is it?
It's at Nassau Coliseum.
Is that for Netflix? What is that one? The Saturday night
NBC.
NBC and Peacock.
NBC.
So nice. I don't know if you remember back in the day, Keith, but every so often when Saturday Night Live was off air, NBC would fill with wrestling, with pro wrestling.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that was called Saturday Night's Main Event, and WWE is bringing that back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would always buy I would always buy the TV Guide and like look for like the main event page and like Saturday, it's not on this week.
I used to get bummed when Saturday Night Live was on. I'd be like,
I wish. Are they gonna show it too on the weeks that SNL's not on?
I would hope so.
I mean, that would be cool. I think they kept the same intro music too.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah. I think it's a one-off right now, but I have to imagine that if it does well, they'll pick it up.
It'll be cool.
Yeah. I've only heard for the December 14th date so far.
Yeah, right.
The other cool wrestling show coming up is that AEW announced 2 dates at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which is there's many notable ECW and even early Monday Night Raw were held at the first Raw was held at Hammerstein Ballroom. So I want to go to that so very badly.
Nice.
After having broke the bank this year. What's that, PJ?
The only one night stand pay-per-view that matters. The original one night stand was there.
There you go. Exactly. It's just a legendary venue. I'd love to go see AEW's first event there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So the other thing you're doing with this book, PJ, is that you have a little side piece that you're working on. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Sure. So the digital version, the digital tier starts at $5, and I want to give people way more than $5 worth of value out of it. So, I'm including MP3s of theme songs for all the wrestlers. I'm including a bunch of production art, stuff like that. But I'm also doing an anthology of prose, and I'm putting it together kind of like an old school wrestling newsletter. And I've got some great writers that I love and respect from pro wrestling and from comics. And Johnny is one of them. Adriano Aragianello from Pesto Comics. He just released From Parts Unknown, which is another great pro wrestling comic. And I've got some other people from the pro wrestling scene, and everybody's doing a story kind of in their style. And I don't know what Johnny's doing yet, but I'm really excited to read it when it's done.
I was going to say, PJ, we'll have to, I think I have a solid idea in place. I know I kind of sent you like a brief email, but I think we'll have to have maybe like a phone call or a quick, like actual conversation just so we can get on the same page with my idea.
Listen, man, whatever brings you joy. Whatever.
I know, but I want to stay within the confines of the sandbox, and I want to possibly pick your brain so we can maybe tie it to deeper things. So Yeah, we'll if you have the time, we'll just have a quick convo, and
Sure.
I'll kind of lay out all my thoughts, and we can maybe spitball some ideas.
Sure.
I'm just trying to think about who was announced as from Parts Unknown, like which wrestlers. I know that some of the
Ultimate
weirder.
Warrior.
Was he Parts Unknown?
Yeah, he was Parts Unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
And then if you look at a more modern take, you have Orange Cassidy, who's from wherever,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
So did you know that Orange Cassidy started out as one of the ants in Ant Colony?
So I wasn't very familiar with that era of it, but that was part of Lucha Underground, wasn't it? Wasn't he
No, it was
Ant?
Chikara. It was Chikara. It was Mike Quackenbush. Okay. Mike Quackenbush's show.
No kidding. I didn't know that, but I know he went by Fire Ant.
And
that's
Carl, who is the ring announcer in Undisputed, is a manager, and his tag team just defended the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Association tag team titles against the current iteration of Ant Colony on Saturday.
Oh, no kidding. Right. So that's actually still going.
Yeah. I don't know who's under those masks now, but they still have a couple ants marching.
That's so awesome. I love when they can keep something like that going for an extended period of time. And even if you look at WWE now and like there's Judgment Day, that was started by Edge a long ass time ago, and he's in freaking AEW now. I love when you can keep something like that going and it can transform over time and build and grow. And that's how you really kind of have like a true build a true fan base.
Right. I like wrestling, I wish I had kept up, with and be as enthusiastic about it as you guys are, but I'm very old school. I love it.
I understand, Harry. Yeah. That's why I haven't
room for you.
Yeah.
Harry's like, I only want my wrestlers carrying snakes in bags.
Right. I'm like,
I'm fine with that.
And parrots on their arm.
Basically,
beware, baby. I love it.
Yeah. You mentioned Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. Everybody on that is what I like. The Sheik, Volkov, Piper, all those classic guys.
Yeah, but I talked about that cartoon a lot. How it used to drive me nuts that they never wrestled in the cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
It used to drive me crazy.
Well, never bump for free if you're not getting paid.
Yeah, right. I guess if you look at it that way, yeah, sure. Epic opening though. The intro was fantastic on that cartoon.
Unforgettable for sure.
Yeah, tomorrow when we go off air, PJ, I'll add the Kickstarter link to our description of the video. Awesome. So people tuning in that didn't tune in to us tonight, I can send them there to check out the Kickstarter. When is it going live? What time?
7 a.m. And
okay, you have it up that early. Okay,
Eastern time.
Yeah, Eastern time. Okay,
and it's
perfect.
a $250 goal, so it's really
what is the goal?
Just doing it's $250.
Oh, that should be able to hit that no problem.
Yeah,
no problem. Yeah, that's great. Everybody who likes wrestling, there's a wrestling comic for you. There's not that. I mean, there's a handful of them out there, but there's this is coming from a guy that's immersed in this field. Yep. So
this is top
notch.
Yeah,
well, exactly. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to write a story that could only happen in pro wrestling. Like it's a very familiar story, but the way I tell it can only be done in pro wrestling. Yeah. Where a lot of comics.
Can you finish the story of Mae Young's rubber arm? I want to know how that ends, or what happened with that. That whole storyline.
Excuse me, sir. This is a family show, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Awesome. I love it. Well, PJ, thank you for joining us at this late hour.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for sneaking me in tonight. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all you guys. I had so much fun at Athol hanging out with you. It was a blast.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it again next October. There,
I'm keeping my calendar open for you, Keith.
You should have a whole wrestling theme show, like have the Pawn Brothers, and like Pawn Bros, and then PJ.
We got to. Cool. I mean, like we have done the workshops. Maybe we can do
the round table
wrestling.
That'd be cool.
That would
bring
be really
some people in that have worked on wrestling comics or something, and figure out
Facebook adjacent.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd be down.
All right, cool. Yeah, maybe we can do like a what do they call those? Like the brackets, or something. We could figure out the greatest wrestler of all time or something. I don't know.
I like that.
The greatest wrestler of all time is Tommy Dreamer.
Okay.
Some would say Ric Flair, but I might be with you with that one on that one, PJ.
Some might say Little Beaver. I don't know.
Little Beaver.
Do you guys know Little Beaver?
Little Beaver.
It's not Doink the Clown. It's not Doink the Clown.
Sorry. I apologize.
I'm out.
He's disgusted with us. But we'll think of something. Maybe we could do something like that. It'd be a lot of fun,
Sure. Yeah. I'm always open for you, man.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks again, PJ, for coming on, man.
No, thank you. I appreciate all you guys.
Get some sleep, PJ. We got to keep the show going for another handful of minutes here. But
as we wrap
get
up,
some sleep, and good luck to you on the campaign. Like I said, I'll share it out in the description of the video tomorrow for anyone watching it. And I think you got a reasonable goal. I think you can hit that no problem. So,
and hey, support indie comics and support indie wrestling.
Yeah, love it.
Love that.
Awesome.
All right, PJ, we'll be in touch, brother.
Have a good night. All right, good night, PJ. Awesome, guys. Well, that was fun.
That was fun. Nice. Yeah. So I'm working on a small piece for his
book,
his add-on there. So I have an idea. I have the concept. He's got an idea of what he wants to do. I just don't want to break his rules, and I want to make it so it's very ingrained with the rest of his story. So I just need to kind of spitball with him a little bit. It's all going to be prose, so it'll be simple to bang out. It's just a little bit of writing time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of making sure that everything I want to do falls in line with his story and it doesn't step on anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great, man. I'd love, and you're another one that's qualified to write a wrestling comic,
Maybe we'll see. I mean, in reading this, I felt very intimidated because it's wrestling inside and out. Like PJ worked in the wrestling industry.
Yeah.
So he knows, I could see in reading it how he brought his experience with him to the table. I'm just a fan. So you know what I mean? I'm a mark. So
but I bet you probably have some kind of wrestling story in you,
Oh, for sure. At least in the context of what he's looking to do, I think I could provide a nice little something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if George O'Connor and Daniel Warren Johnson can do it, I think Johnny C can do it. No problem.
Of course.
And I like George O'Connor's book too. That one's
I've only read the first preview issue of that. It was really fun. So
yep, that's gonna be a good book.
But so gents, I know we didn't get to talk at the front of the show. How was everyone's Thanksgiving?
Harry?
I was telling Keith before that it was a Thanksgiving that never ended, that would never end because
he was telling me about it.
It was like that
it was like like that movie Four Christmases. Harry had 4 Thanksgivings.
Yeah, I was gonna have Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving. I was gonna cook a turkey for my brothers to come over and whatever. But then my older brother says, "Oh, I can't make it for Thanksgiving. Can we move it to Saturday?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll just do the bird on Saturday." And then my friend Lucy is like, "Oh, come on over on Thanksgiving if you have no plans." I'm like, "All right." So then she lives in New Ipswich, New Hampshire, and they're supposed to get 10 inches of snow that day. So she's like, "Harry, don't come. My in-laws canceled. It's freezing rain right now. The driving could be dangerous." I'm like, "All right." So it's like I'll move it to Friday. Like, all right. So the actual Thanksgiving, I did nothing. I watched movies all day. Friday, I went to her house. My older brother calls me again Friday and says, "Anyway, we can move it to Sunday." I'm like, "No, we're doing it Saturday. So I can get it over with and be done with it. It's got to end at some point. I can't go on 4 days of Thanksgiving like Keith is saying." I'm like,
I know.
Nah.
It's just endless.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ours was okay. We hosted, so I love that we didn't have to go anywhere after. That was always nice.
That's nice.
But I wish we had bought everything and cooked, because we did that. Market Basket has, which is the local grocery store here, has this thing where you can buy you buy the whole dinner and they deliver it to you basically. It was a pre-cooked turkey and all this, the the sides and stuff. But you still had to heat it up, and like so, it was like it didn't really save much time.
What about money wise? Was it comparable? Like if you had bought everything,
it was about $80, but I figured that'd be what we'd spend anyways. For
how many does it feed?
They said 7 to 10, but I think it would have done a little more than that. Like we had a lot of leftover meat, so probably about.
And was it a whole turkey or was it like sliced turkey? Like,
it was like they pre-cooked it, so we just had to throw it in the oven for 2 hours. But it was a little more on the dry side, which I think would have been better if we just cooked it from scratch and Amy brined it and all that stuff. I think it would have been a lot better, Overall, I mean, it was a good day, Just the family came over and it was good. No problems, no fights, nothing, So
that's good.
Yeah, it was good. How about you, Johnny? Did you have
problems, fights? 2 turkeys, 1 smoked, 1 baked, 2 turkeys.
Smoked and baked? How's a smoked turkey taste?
So I had a boneless turkey that I'm a member of Butcher Box.
Okay.
So they had a real good deal on a boneless turkey, and I'm trying to clean up some freezer space. So it's like, what better time to do it than smoke a turkey on Thanksgiving? So
does it show up like a boneless chicken breast? Like when
it's skin on boneless chicken breast.
Okay.
I like you said, I brined it. So I brined it in water and solution for 2 days prior to kind of seep in and flavor the meat. And then I put a nice rub on it, threw it in the smoker for 4.5 hours. I have an indoor smoker. I got it off of Indiegogo. It was GE profile. And it came out great. Skin was nice and crisp. It was flavorful. I sliced it nice and thin, so it made for good sandwiches after. So that was great.
Nice, man. Oh, sorry that there was so many fights, but that sounds great.
Happens.
Yeah.
That's the holidays for you. That's what happens when you have too many big personalities and alpha personalities in one.
Was it a lot of the family? Like, was Roger there?
Roger was there, not the Roger.
Okay.
Because the Roger, he wins the battles. He does not lose. He does not lose.
Well, hopefully the fights weren't fisticuff levels.
No, not that bad.
No, that's good.
Maybe next year I'll just go to Boston Market and call it a day. Just buy.
I'm thinking Chinese food next year.
Chinese,
it's going to be Chinese food next year.
It's more
the Chinese turkey, which is usually a duck.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's their version.
Amy loves to cook though, so like I am fine with that. I'll help here and there, but she actually likes to cook. So
next time I'm coming to Leominster.
Yeah, you should come.
Yes.
I told Harry I wish he knew he was alone that day. I would have had him come over.
I was catching up on my TV shows.
No, I get you. I get you. We did that later, actually. I think we watched Gladiator 1 later.
One.
Did you go see 2 yet?
No, I want to
see 2.
I got a convention on Saturday, my last convention of the year. Yep, it's a CT Collecticon. But I have Sunday free, and I think Amy's doing some filming in the morning. So I'm thinking next Sunday might be when we want. If you want to go, Johnny, let me know. After it helped watching 1 again because I hadn't seen it in like 20 years.
Yeah,
and now that I can see how 2 connects to it, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Now I'm kind of into this.
The only scene that always gets me.
Which one?
The first one. The only scene that always gets me is like when he's like walking in the field of like the wheat.
Oh sad scene.
That always gets me every time. Like he's like.
I hadn't seen it in a long time, and when I originally watched it, all I had remembered from it was a lot of the gladiator fight scenes. I had forgotten about all the stuff with the backroom dealings with the Senate and all the backstabbing and all that stuff. And I was like, oh wow, I found that stuff more interesting now.
And that guy
then, so
that gladiator trainer with the white goatee and the white hair, he dies during the making.
Oliver
Reed dies during the making. He dies during the making of that movie. Yeah, but he dies during the making of that movie. Do you guys know that?
Yes,
I didn't know that he died during the making of the movie, but I know he's like an absolute legend. Like he was in this amazing horror movie called Burnt Offerings from like I think the 80s. If you ever get a chance to see that, such a good haunted house movie. It's on Tubi, I think, because me and Amy were talking about watching it because she hasn't seen it. And but yeah, Oliver Reed's great actor. Love him. And like, I didn't know he died on that movie. That's interesting.
During the making of it. Yeah.
But now when I saw the preview for 2, it looks like Denzel Washington is like that kind of role.
It looks like he steps in that role for sure.
Yeah, and then like and the gladiator is like the little kid from the first movie, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Going into it. So I was like, oh, okay, that's who he is. That's cool. So now I like how it ties in.
I have a fun fact. This was released by the U.S. Naval Institute on it was on this day. It was one of those on this day posts. Unfortunately, I didn't save what day that was, but they posted about Oliver Reed. They go, on this day in 1999, actor Oliver Reed died in Malta during the production of Gladiator.
Huh.
Reed had consumed 8 pints of beer, 12 shots of rum, half a bottle of whiskey, and shots of cognac after challenging sailors from the HMS Cumberland to a drinking contest in a pub.
Oh my God.
Who then defeated several sailors in arm wrestling before collapsing and dying.
Ah, God bless
Holy
him.
shit. Wow.
That's
legend.
Motherfucking Oliver Reed for you.
Legend.
Yep.
That's the real gladiator.
That's the real gladiator right there.
Amazing. Hey, Edie, thanks for joining us. She said Thanksgiving is the one day a year that I pretend I like turkey. Oh, really? You have to pretend? Oh, wow.
Did Edie Sedgwick come back from the dead to watch our show?
Yeah.
Edie Sedgwick's an old actress.
Oh, is it really?
Did she come back from the dead to watch us?
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Oh, the mention of Oliver Reed brought her back.
I know. Where's Oliver? Is Oliver out there? Oliver?
Needless to say, I do want to see the movie. And Amy was telling me that you've all seen the trailer, right?
Yeah.
The stuff with the water is like a real thing.
That's
like
a real deal.
Yeah, so I was like, that's really cool.
Yep.
So yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
Coliseum and stage those kind of battles.
I heard a thing though. You can win like a what is it? Like a trip to the Coliseum and stay a night there and fight or something. You know, they're doing like a not been back. Well, I'm trying to think of the I can't think of the thing. Basically, you can win a trip to the Coliseum.
To the Coliseum, yeah, they rebuilt it, I guess,
and fight. Oh, and also this week they opened the Notre Dame Cathedral that burnt down. Right. Yeah, so 5 years since it burnt. But this hopefully because somebody was like smoking like a cigarette or something, and it burnt the whole place up because it didn't have any modern like a sprinkler system or anything like that. So it burnt like
right. So it's like old
firewood.
Yeah.
So hopefully they install that this time around.
Yeah, right. One thing I was going to mention, I know Harry saw it, Johnny. I don't know if you did. I cut Amy made a new video of one of Harry's tangents. Did you get to see that? It went up
I don't think I did.
We're going to play that for the audience. It's hilarious. It's do you remember when Harry was talking about the Janus cat?
The two-faced cat.
Oh, yes. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
So I found whenever I do the ICR bits and I find a funny Harry moment, I hand it off to Amy.
You got to isolate it and hand it over to Amy.
I do.
It works her magic, I go, right?
Amy, you got to do something with this. So let's show you and the audience this video. You're gonna crack up because Johnny, you were dying on this segment. You were,
I'm sure I was.
You were
talking
about
mutant cats.
Yeah, right. And then Mike Spring had a few jokes that made the segment really funny. So
right.
Yeah, so here we go. Let me set this up for everybody here. All right. This is
tale of the Janus cat.
The Janus cat. God. So here you go, everybody. Enjoy.
Strange tales. Oddball theories. Off-topic stories. It's time for more tangents with Harry.
Speaking of Piss Cat, a long time ago, I did my internship, and they put me to do the internship at Tufts University School of Veterinary Medicine. And I was like working on my computer, and all you could smell was like formaldehyde, because like they would bring all kinds of like animals in with like issues, like Clydesdales with like eating disorders, or camels, with like whatever one hump, whatever. They're like a bison with cancer.
That's where
But anyway, I was working on my computer, and this nurse walked in holding this cat. And she's like, "Hey Harry, like my cat?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like kind of half paying attention. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, yeah." It's like, "No, look at it." And she like turns around, and this cat had two faces. It was supposed to split into two different cats, but it didn't make it that far. It had two working mouths, three eyes, with the eye in the middle was like in mid split. You know what I mean? It was like,
oh my god!
And it was so scary looking, And I think it's the oldest living, or was. I don't know if he's still with us, or if they're still with us. But it's the oldest living Janus cat, which means like
wow.
It's in the Guinness Book of World Records if you look it up, and they had two different names.
Sorry, I laughed so hard this stream. I'm dehydrated.
Sorry.
Harry, you kill me, dude. I love it.
Mike, how about you? Do you have anything else that you want to?
I'm working on a new book called The Anorexic Clydesdale. Really excited about that.
It was so scary. It was like a 10-foot tall horse, with like all skin and bones. It was scary.
It's a horror.
Camel won't stop smoking.
Join us next time for more Tangents with Harry.
Oh my god, Frankie and Louie.
That is so good. That was such a good gem that I found.
And another little footnote too is that the nurse or the veterinarian that had that was basically somebody dropped it off because it was like a Frankenstein cat, like a freaky cat, pet cemetery cat, and they dropped it off. They dropped it off at the place, and like this nurse picked it up and she like adopted it. And she's the sister of MTV VJ John Norris. What's the guy's name? He was like a reporter or something on MTV back in the day.
I think you had mentioned that in the clip. That, like Amy had like cut it
Oh,
down to
yeah.
kind of keep things going quicker. But that's kind of funny.
Harry, you crack me up, man.
And then Amy made that comic cover, which I thought was really funny. That
was awesome.
We'll put that on the intro at some point, so like on the countdown.
Thank you, Amy. That was
funny
amazing.
I love when she makes content like that for the channel. It's just so funny.
So good. Amy's a genius when it comes to that.
Yeah, big time.
That was pretty amazing.
Look at it. She just wrote the story keeps unfolding like a flower. And she also said, speaking of piss cat is the best way to start every story.
Right. I'm trying to find a way to get in there with that story.
Yeah, right.
Segue.
How do I pry open this tangent?
Awesome.
Actually, I can't ever repeat it, but when she first mentioned piss cat, two stories came to mind. I picked the lesser of
oh god, you have another
disturbing story, but we'll that's fine. Maybe later, maybe sometime when I'm feeling a little if I have a drink or something.
Is it funny or is it just demented?
It's funny, a little of both, a little from column A, a little from column B, but
okay.
Next time. I don't want to like
one unfiltered episode sometime. Completely explicit
thing comes up again.
If a litter box ever comes up, remind me.
Okay. Nice. The only other thing I want to mention before we start wrapping things up is just the campaign real quick. Just gonna show it off real quick. We're at 111%, 36 backers. Look at that number, 222. I feel like we had some weird numbers tonight on the campaign.
I know, right? That's kismet right there.
Yeah, something's going on. Yeah, things are going good. I should let you guys know this today. So I heard from the Ogle brothers about their backup story today. They sent me 3 different ideas. Liked all 3 of them actually, but the one I chose, which is one that I thought that they would do a good job at, that I wouldn't do a good job at. And it's the Mighty Mascots taking on sports mascots, like team mascots and stuff. And I was like, that could be cool.
Baseball. Mr. Baseball.
Yeah, I don't know which one they're going to use. They sent me a couple ideas, and I just told them to run with it. I was like, I don't
Can they use an actual mascot, or do they have to use like an approximate?
They're probably going to have to do a proxy,
Yeah. Because I mean, there's the Philly Freak or whatever his name was.
Cincinnati Chicken.
Right. Chicken, Well, it's like I don't watch sports that much, so like I feel like those guys would do a better job with that than I would. So I was like, yeah, go for that. The other ones they wanted to do was like ones with the Keebler elves, and like I think they want to do one with like the Flintstone guys, like Barney and Fred, from Fruity Pebbles and
cereals and the vitamins,
which were good. They had great ideas for both of them. But I like the sports one, so I can't wait to see what they come up with. And the other thing too, the book is going along good. Ian is almost done penciling and inking the main story, and Anton is about halfway done coloring it. And I've lettered about 8 pages of it so far, so it's it's going along. The backup story's complete. DC Miller is completely done. I just have to get in there and letter that thing, and then that'll be done. So we're moving on a good clip, so we might end up delivering it quicker than the deadline, which I put for the summer. So we'll see.
Oh, nice.
It'd be nice, I might actually leave the campaign open. Why the hell not? Like,
why not?
Really? I would expect you to. I mean, if the
some people just leave it open until
it's standard now, right? Is leaving it open. I'm going to see if I can reopen Surrounded by Death and add a tier for the collected edition. You know what I mean?
See if you can. Why the hell not?
Yeah, right.
Do it.
As Charles Barkley would say, why you don't? No, that's
not, Johnny. You could even put up a quick like little one with just the comics and a couple perks, and that's it. You don't have to go nuts like the other one.
I haven't done one on Indiegogo yet. I mean, that's an idea.
Yeah. Open one up, put your goal. I think the lowest you can go is 500. You'll hit that no problem, and then
I'm sure.
Yeah, just leave it open as a store. Tony James does it with Star Noir on Indiegogo, and I feel like I might, like, if I do another campaign, like I'd like to do Kid Switch again at some point. I feel like that one I might take a chance and either go back to Kickstarter or try Fund My Comics. Or one of those, and see how that way I can kind of build an audience.
Crowdfunder, that other one.
Maybe try Crowdfunder.
I hear a lot of good stuff about that one.
I hear a lot of good stuff about Zoop, but I feel like they take a huge chunk of your chain.
Yeah, and I think they curate that one a little bit more. Like there's some exclusivity,
a little more hands-on and stuff. Yeah. You might not be able to get in if you're not a name or something. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But that's cool, man. Any more updates on your campaign that you're gonna do eventually?
Nothing quite yet. I'm kind of waiting on a cover. So once I have that cover in, and a little bit more funds kind of like set aside where I can put towards the project. So basically, what I really am waiting for, and this is where I can start to actually do stuff again, is after tax season, right? So it's like I get all my tax returns back. I can, work with that funds to put towards projects, travel, conventions, things of that nature. So once I have a little bit extra funds and those covers are back to me, then I can start actually assembling things, putting things together, using, picking the best artwork to kind of present. You know what I mean? I still have to get some stuff colored. So little things. I just need some finances for now, and just a little bit extra time.
No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'd be what maybe open up the Surrounded by Death one real quick, make some funds. You know, you already got the books and everything, right?
Maybe. Like the thing is that the funds from that get split around, so it might not be best.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And I've got and I've got Sartana going too. So Joe Arnold is actively working on new Sartana pages at the moment. He's doing a project that's a script that's written by Jeff Ryder, my friend Jeff. Yeah. So Jeff wrote a little 10-page Sartana script while at New York Comic Con.
Nice.
And I'm going to have that done first. So Joe's working on that while I finish one of my scripts. I think that will be one of the next Kickstarters I actually do is going to be that if I don't get my shorts, my collected shorts done. So it'll be one of the two, whichever comes first.
Whichever one finishes first.
Right, exactly. But as far as the collected shorts, I have this to share. But, but you know what? I'll wait for the next show.
You sure?
Yes.
We got time.
No, I'm gonna wait for the next show. That way I have something to share for the next show. So something mysterious inside here. I'll get to share that the next show.
Edie asked, Harry, are you in front of a green screen or did you make the man cave into a TARDIS?
I wish I had that kind of technology.
Edie, what's the secret to coming back from the dead?
Yeah. She also asked Sartana, the Western question.
The Western,
mark.
yes.
Yeah.
I wrote a comic book from Sartana.
Nice.
Very cool. She's from that era. She's an actress from that era, so she should know things like Sartana.
Nice.
I just need to know how she came back to life, and why would she watch us? If you can come back from the dead, of all the things, you watch us.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're bigger than we thought. Who knows?
Maybe.
She said nice.
Thank you for coming back from the dead and watching us, Edie.
Yeah, right. We appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I guess if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, we could probably start wrapping it up. We've been going like 2 hours and 15 minutes. So
yeah, I mean, the only other thing I didn't mention is that Saratoga was a fun time this year. That's it.
Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up. Yeah, how was that, man? How was Saratoga?
Fun show.
Yeah.
Sales were a little bit low, but all sales have been lower for this show. So
you didn't have a table though, right? You
didn't have a table. I'm just reverberating what I've heard from people, and it's just the same. It was the same at every show. It's been a downturn year. So
any cool connections or strengthening?
I got to hang out with Danny from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5.
Oh, nice.
The kid that gets turned into a motorcycle in part 4 or whatever. Yeah. So I got to hang out with that actor. Cool? His name's Danny Hassel. Awesome guy. Real cool guy. We just chatted about projects that we want to make and just, different things, and real cool guy.
Nice.
That's cool.
Edie said she died 53 years ago, but she feels a lot better now.
That's good. Wonderful.
And then Amy was asking if she was related to Kira Cedric, and she said yes. That's second cousin, I believe. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear Saratoga was good. Overall, but I mean, was the people there and just weren't spending? Was it like every other show I've seen this year? Was it
pretty much
well attended, but not well? No one's buying stuff.
Yeah, not a lot of commerce.
Let's hope now that the election is in the dust. Let's hope people are starting to come out and spend money again. That'd be nice.
I agree with you there. Yep.
One thing I took advantage of before we go, Comics Wellspring had a lot of Black Friday sales this weekend. I bought more issues of Mascots. I bought more trade paperbacks. Figure why not? They're 15-20% off.
They had 50% off on some things. Like it was huge.
Yeah, today, right? The
savings.
last day.
Yeah.
Printed. They had it on like bookmarks and a bunch of other things, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't need any of that stuff, so I didn't pull a trigger on it. But I was kind of thinking maybe the tablecloth, but I didn't do it.
Any
we could use another one, but I just didn't. Other thing too, I wanted to tell you guys too, an exciting thing. So we're going to be weekly right up until the 16th, which is the week before Christmas, and then the show will be off 12/23 and off 12/30. So we'll be off for 2 weeks during the holidays. But next Monday, I'm excited for this. Our guest next Monday is Matthew Sardo, who is the promoter for the Indie Creator Comic-Con that me and Johnny are going to in March. So that's going to be cool. I'd love to get to know this guy and why he started the convention and things like that, which looks to be an awesome show. I'm so excited for that convention. I can't wait. And then on the 16th, we have Robbie Atkinson and Troy Minkowski, which I don't think either of those guys have been on the show.
I know Troy.
You do know Troy? Amy said she met him. She met him when she was doing some extra work, and she got his comic, and I read it. It was pretty good. I thought it was very fun. It reminded me of very Mike Allred-ish, like it has that kind
that's
of feel
definitely the
to
vibe.
it. Yeah, and so I thought that was cool. But yeah, and then after that, we'll be off for 2 weeks for Christmas and all that good stuff. So so a couple good shows coming up, which I think will be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So all right, everybody, we're gonna start wrapping it up here. Any last words, guys, before we wrap this one up?
Harry?
It was fun.
Had a good time. Best of times. We had the worst.
Yeah, it was always nice hanging out with you guys. And,
absolutely.
As I
thought overall too, things went smoothly tonight with the staggered guests. So
it didn't make the show shorter, but it was still cool.
No, but it was good. It was kind of cool. It had like a nice talk show vibe to it. So
I think the only thing we have to be mindful of is make sure we're not going over. Guests are waiting.
We did pretty good though.
We have to find a good way to transition. And I think one idea, and maybe I'll just throw it out here while we're still live, is
live band
bringing
band
playing people off.
Right, exactly.
Like the Oscars.
All right, Harry, here's your homework. You have to learn how to play the slide trombone between now and next week.
I can play the maracas and the timbre.
Well, the good thing is we only have one guest next week, so we don't have to worry about this next week, which is good.
If we start to run over with the first guest, I think what we should do is just bring in the second guest immediately. While we're continuing and wrapping up the first guest. And then that way we can transition. And if they want to stay, then they can stay if they want to. But you know what I mean? It's just instead of just a hard stop in between the two, a crossfade.
Okay.
Just an idea.
Try that out. Yeah. You try that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And everybody out there, let us know your thoughts. Do you like the staggered guests? Do you like seeing us have a group thing?
More of Harry's tangents. Less of Harry's tangents, whatever you want.
Right.
Now they gotta love that. I think
I want more.
I'm sure I'm gonna find more when I start doing.
I got
more
plenty from my grab bag.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Whoa. All right, everybody. So we're gonna wrap this one up. We'll be back next week and the week after, right before the holidays. And all right, we'll have a great week. As always, read some comics, and we'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.